St. Petersburg Conservatory, the first music institution in Russia, was officially opened on the 21st of September 1862. Founded upon the initiative of a great musician Anton Rubinstein, the Conservatory, as well as the Russian Music Society, was under the patronage of the great Princess Elena Pavlovna from the very first days of its existence. In his speech at the opening ceremony, Rubinstein exhorted, "Be a humble and a tireless votary of the art which elevates the soul and ennobles a man. Leave these walls being none other than a true artist." The laureate of the first graduation of the St. Petersburg Conservatory in 1865, the great Pyotr Tchaikovsky, accounted for this appeal completely. Over 30 years, the St. Petersburg Conservatory owned no building. The institution was based in a wing of Demidov's house, in the buildings on Zagorodny Prospect and on Theatre Street. Finally, in 1889, the building of the Grand Theatre on Theatre Square was given to the St. Petersburg Conservatory by His Imperial Majesty's command of the Emperor Alexander III. The project was led by the architect Vladimir Nicolau, and it continued for almost 5 years. The solemn opening of the new building took place on the 12th of November 1896 at the presence of the imperial family. It was the first time that the conservatory obtained its own building, with 2 halls, classes for study, a library, a church, and even the apartments for its professors and employees. The students received an opportunity to have regular concert practice and to attend the performances of the world's leading musicians who were often guests of the building on Theatre Square. From the very first days, the Great Hall became the place for the students' opera practice. Annual cycles of concerts organized by the Russian Music Society also took place there, as well as the performances of various opera groups. The conservatory enjoyed Shaliapin, Caruso, Cavalieri, Sobinov, Kshesinsky, Duncan, and many others. It was the first Russian museum dedicated to a composer personally. Only a few years later, a famous monument made by Robert Bach appeared on Theatre Square. In 1900, the Rubinstein Museum was opened at the conservatory, and 2 years after that, the monument of the institution's founder was unveiled. Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov devoted more than 30 years of his life to the conservatory. It was only for his effort that the compositional and the theoretical education was raised to a new level. His school was continued by his bright students. Alexander Glazunov was the first conservatory director elected in 1905 within the new building. He became the most respected, competent, and beloved leader. In 1912, a reconstruction of the Great Hall took place. It was accomplished in only 6 months. The hall obtained unique acoustics and an exquisite decor. During the years of the First World War, charity concerts and performances were held regularly. A military hospital was also set up in the building. It was only due to Glazanov's enthusiasm and the unity of professors and students that the conservatory survived the difficult years of hunger after the revolution. During the Second World War, the staff of the institution was evacuated from Leningrad till the autumn of 1944. For 3 years, the educational process took place in Tashkent. During the terrifying years of the siege, in spite of everything, the Leningrad Conservatory continued working in its hometown. Its professors and students, more than 160 people who had stayed in the city, gave numerous concerts, worked on factories and in sapper brigades. One of the greatest post-war events was the opening of the monument to Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov in 1952, whose name had been given to the Leningrad Conservatory in 1944. On Rimsky-Korsakov's birthday, on the 18th of March 1969, the Museum of Conservatory's History opened its doors. It was founded by the Professor Era Baricheva. The opera studio of the Leningrad Conservatory was in its bloom between the 50s and the 70s. The most interesting performances took place here, witnessed by a large audience. A lot of excellent concerts, competitions and students' festivals were being organized during these years in the small hall as well. Even today, the Opera and Ballet Theatre of the St. Petersburg Conservatory remains one of the biggest opera venues in the city. Many opera and ballet performances are loved and frequently attended by the audience. The most inspiring concerts, competitions, the International Conservatory's Week Festival take place at the Glazunov Hall, which was renovated 10 years ago. Today, the conservatory rejuvenates and multiplies the traditions of its ancestors. The Board of Trustees has been renewed, the Alumni Association has been created, multiple international workshops and conferences are regularly held here. Close ties with the largest universities and music institutions all over the world have been maintained for many years.